champions, where black and gold runs through the veins of every fan. Welcome to Steel City Sunday on the It's a Rap Sports Network. Whoa! The smoke is rising from the rivers tonight. Terrible towels waving under stadium lights. From the North Shore crowd to the hometown bars, Steel City football shining like the stars. Every hit, every drive, every yard on the ground, you can feel that energy all over town. From kickoff dreams to the final score, Pittsburgh football always leaves you wanting more. Hear the crowd roar, feel the black and gold thunder. Steel City Sunday, game day passion leading the way. From pregame talk to the final say, we're breaking it down the Pittsburgh way. Steel City Sunday, win or lose, we're here to stay. The fans, the action, the pride, the glory. It's a Rap Sports Network tells the story. From legendary moments to the stars of today, every snap and every battle takes our breath away. The defense flying, the offense on attack. Once the whistle blows, there's no turning back.
Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you can hear me. I am John Phillips. This is Steel City Sunday. We are live, and I'm excited to be able to talk to you. If you can hear us, let us know. It's always an adventure when you're on your own and by yourself, which is what I am right now. I'm literally doing this by myself, but I managed to get on the air, unlike last week where I had a few issues. But, you know, when you're not doing this on a regular basis, it happens. Ethan is King 84 in the comments section already. Ethan, hopefully you can hear us, and we appreciate you coming in this evening. We are live on X and YouTube tonight. We're going to make sure that, we get some people in here. And, of course, as the first half begins, we'll provide some commentary on the contest and, get some feedback from you as well by halftime. Excellent. We've got volume, and that's always a good sign, although maybe listening to me necessarily not always the best course of action in terms of a positive result, right? I spent many years in radio, and it was always enjoyable. I always loved radio. I got into this conversation on X with a few people about, how did you deal with people that might have said bad things about you, and it just kind of rolls off your back, if you will, because in this business, when you provide opinion, people aren't going to agree with you at times, and that's just the way it is. We try to be civil about things, and years ago I used to get into it with people, and it just doesn't do me much good at this stage in my life. I'm John Phillips. This is Steel City Sunday. We are going to bring some first half commentary. Well, I want to talk a little bit, obviously, about the quarterback situation. I was in the car a little bit today and had a chance to listen to Joe Starkey on the midday show on the Fan, and he was talking about obviously Mason Rudolph, who's not going to see any action today. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers not going to see any action today, and most likely those two will not see any action next week, which really has led to the question on whether or not Mason Rudolph is going to be the number 2 guy, right, come the start of the regular season, or perhaps that he could be traded. He could be traded, right? There's talk about him being traded. I've stated this since, Mike McCarthy came on board, and through the course of training camp and the build up to it. I think I even wrote an article about this on X maybe about 4 or 5 weeks ago, but there's no way Mike McCarthy is going into this regular season with 2 quarterbacks that have never seen a single snap in the NFL. I don't care how good these 2 guys play. I truly think now, and I wasn't a big fan of keeping 4 quarterbacks, but I'm certain I'm certain at this point that Mike McCarthy's goal here is to get what he can in terms of what he can see from these two young men and carry four quarterbacks. He's going to carry four quarterbacks, it looks like. That's the way I see it right now. And I guess that's just something we're going to have to live with, right? Just something we're going to have to live with when it comes to the decision-making of a new head coach, right? We've been so used to how things were under Mike Tomlin, but now we're on a different plane here with a new head coach who is going to do things his way. And so right now, I just don't see how McCarthy goes into the year with two guys with, 1 year and 0 years of experience of playing in the NFL, and neither of them have played in the NFL. I'll get your thoughts and comments on that. If you want to drop a comment, you can do so in our YouTube channel. If you're on X tonight, you're welcome to drop a comment there, or on Facebook. We are broadcasting live tonight, and we'll do some first half commentary on the game. We're going to see Will Howard to start this contest. Drew Aller is going to start the second half. At halftime, Paul Zeiss is going to hop in and join us for a little bit. We'll get his thoughts. Last week we had some technical issues with Paul, but we're, he was on the road trying to provide us a little bit of time. I think he is situated where he can help us out a little bit this evening. I just want to get his thoughts as we are, about to embark on the second preseason game of the year. And again, as I have said, I think, and those of us that, I'm not a fan like I once was. Let's just put it to you that way, right? Like I was a fan, obviously, growing up and in my, through college and even in the first portion of my professional career. I was a fanboy. And by the time I got over to Ardmore Boulevard for my second stint when I was doing evenings over there, and this is 1997, the Steelers were in the, thick of things, contending for the AFC Central Division at that time, and for a top seed in the AFC. They eventually lost the AFC Championship at home in 1998 to Denver that year. Cordell Stewart was a big component of that team, and certainly Jerome Bettis as well. I started to kind of change a little bit and started to understand that, hey, I'm a fixture of the media and I've got to, remain partial in certain points of view. And in certain ways I was. I think, when it came to the Steelers, it was a little hard. But I started to kind of have that fundamental shift. And by the time I left Ardmore Boulevard and made my way over to Channel 11, working for Cox Media over there, and started working with Sam Nova and John Fedko, that transition kind of continued. By the time I reached 93.7 The Fan, I was not the same person, and I certainly wasn't a fanboy. And I took a different approach at that stage in my career, and I've kind of looked at things that way ever since. I don't look at these people as anything other than athletes. I don't openly root for the Steelers like I may have once did. It's nice when they win. It's better when they lose, right? Because the violent vitriol comes out in fans, and you're able to, really kind of hone in on some things. And Ethan is King saying he predicts the Steelers are going to keep all four quarterbacks. I think they will as well. Shout out to Lance, who's watching this evening from the Mon Valley. Good to see you, Lance. Nice to make your acquaintance once again. So we're excited to be able to have some of you folks on board today. John Phillips here, Steel City Sunday. We're not doing a pregame show this week. Next week, we'll see. I am working on advertisers right now. Over the weekend, I got a couple marketing pieces out to some restaurants and bars. That'll happen in earnest again this weekend. I hope to have something later next week lined up in terms of, I think where we might be heading. Without a location, we will not be doing the Saturday, the pregame shows. I can just tell you that right now. I as much as I want to do them, it's important if I'm going to put this product together that I pay the guys and the gals, if there are any women coming on a regular basis. Right now there aren't, but the guys that are working locally for me week in and week out on the show, I want to make sure they get paid. 100%. We've worked in this media business for a long time, and you do free things for people out of market. You do interviews in market, casually. That's all well and good. But if you're a regular part of somebody's show, you should be paid, and that thing is mission critical. Lance, Vincent's Pizza is outstanding. Vinny, I don't know if you ever had the Vinny pie when it was Vince himself making the pies. I got a great story. So my mother was not a fan of Vince's. She knew him. She was Italian, much like he was. So they kind of, the old Italians in the Pittsburgh area all kind of knew one another, right? They were usually on the east end of Pittsburgh, like Bloomfield, Penn Hills, Verona, McKeesport, some of the other outlying areas in the eastern suburbs, Monroeville, Murraysville, if you will, Forest Hills, a decent contingent of Italians. And my mother couldn't stand Vinny pie, but my father had a penchant for it. My father used to work at Westinghouse there in East McKeesport. And one day my dad's like, I'm going to get a Vinny pie. And my mother was like, whatever. And we go and we get it. And if you know anything about Vinny pie, of course, it comes on a slab of corrugated box, right? And then they throw the pie on there, and then they cut it up, and then they wrap it in not parchment paper, but a heavy paper, right? A heavy white paper, and then they staple the corners down, and then off you go. We get home with the pizza. My dad opened up, and it's like soup. It was just like soup, and my mother was so angry. My mother never drove. I can still remember this to this day in the kitchen. I was probably like 8 or 9. I don't even think I was 10, maybe I was 10. And she's like, if I could just drive down there right now, I'd throw this pie right at him. She said a few other things that I won't recant, but that was my mother. She was amazing. Minio's anything else is not pizza. I would argue Fiore's. And I'll also say Pizza Lupo is pretty good. Broadway pizza. And I should also say over on the north side, Badamos. I mean, if you haven't had Badamos, you are missing out. That guy right there, man. Rockaway, too. They're over in Regent Square now. I love my pizza wrapped in butcher's paper with a black button crust or black bottom crust. See, I'm not a big fan of that, Lance. I don't like, and they call that New Haven style, right? Where they just burn the living daylights out of it. They char the pizza, right? What's the one up in Monroeville that's the chain that Dan Marino is involved in? They had the charred pizza. Anthony's Cold Fire. Thank you very much, John. Anthony's Cold Fire pizza. I had it a few times. It was okay. I'm not a big fan of that charred pizza. I'm not a fan of the Beto's and, put the cold cheese and toppings on it. Get the hell out of here. What are you doing? What are you even doing? We put the toppings on after the pizza's done. Shut up. It's great. It's the Ohio Valley style. Mentally ill. Who else is checking in here? Mr. Steeler fan. Have you tried Shelly Pie in Turtle Creek? Of course. She used to work for Vinny Pie and then went down the street and started her own thing. And she's doing a very good job. Literally the same product. And, hey, what is it? What's the old saying? When you mimic, right? The flattery, something to that effect. I don't know. It's this year's form of flattery or something like that. She's doing great for herself. Slice on Broadway is big time. I love Slice on Broadway. Absolutely. A solid pizza. Badamo and Slice on Broadway. Slice on Broadway just opened up, I think, a location down in the South Side area. Of course, they are out in Murraysville. That owner's a wackadoo. He's got a board in his pizza place of people that are banned. But hey, business owner can do what he wants. Beto's is gross. I don't disagree, Mr. Steeler fan. Every Vincent pie I've ever had was always well done on the bottom. Yeah, 100%. Absolutely it is. And that's what made him so special. And look at that, Karen saying hello. Good to see you, Karen. Welcome back to the broadcast. Nice to hear from you as well. We are just a few minutes away from the start of the game. It should be popping on the TV here any minute now, and we will have the broadcast. We will provide some commentary, as I had mentioned. I'm not going to actually show the game. That would be copyright infringement, and I don't need the NFL. And I don't need Roger Goodell outside the front door is what I'm saying to you. But nonetheless, we've got the Jets and Steelers that will be starting here very soon. Kickoff just after 7 o'clock tonight, Lance. Just after 7 p.m. Eastern from what I am gathering here, but we're just a few minutes away from this game actually taking shape. So we are excited that you could join us. But again, just to kind of go back to the quarterback scenario here, I cannot in any sort of fashion understand if Mike McCarthy was to either trade or cut Mason. He's not going to cut Mason Rudolph. Okay. You don't cut a 9-year guy like that who can step in as you need him and perform, right? Let's go back to 2023. And, the Steelers were in dire straits, right? Kenny Pickett got hurt. Mitch Trubisky was not playing well. In comes Mason Rudolph to win the final 3 games of that regular season and get them into the playoffs where they eventually lose to Buffalo. As you recall, it was Kenny Pickett who sat down. She's upstairs sleeping, Karen. The kids are upstairs. They just started school this week. And everybody's tired and passed out. So I'm down here kind of doing this sort of thing. But so if you remember that, you had Kenny Pickett, who we later found out in that Seattle game, demanding, right, that he be made the starter. And Tomlin's hand got forced, and he put him on the 3rd string, and he wanted to make him the backup. And Pickett said, I want to start or I'm not playing, right? That whole thing was just weird. That evolved after the game. And then, of course, they eventually won the last game of the year and then lost, as I had mentioned, in the playoffs. You're not going to go into a year like this with Aaron Rodgers at the end of his career and at 42, 43 on December 2nd, I believe it is. You're not going to go into this year with Aller and Howard. It's not happening. It's not happening. I would be stunned if they trade him. They're not cutting him. That much I am certain of. Unless you got some ludicrous deal that made no sense to turn down, which is not going to happen. It would have to take a series of unfortunate events for one team to lose quarterbacks, several of them, and be desperate enough that they would want to make some sort of play at a Mason Rudolph. It's just the way you can't look at it any other way. I can't see it playing out any other way. So here we are with the Steelers, set with their first 2 quarterbacks. How they will play out with Howard and Aller will remain to be seen. That's what the next 2 weeks are going to be for. We'll find out what happens once this game gets underway, which still is kind of in a delay, I believe. I'm not sure what is going on right now. We are at 7:04, and right now I'm not getting anything in terms of live coverage right now on the TV, and I certainly have KDKA on. And I'm not seeing what is going on here. I've got the Roku set up down here in the game room. Posted a little picture on the X page, kind of like behind the scenes, if you will. And I'm just wondering here. Let's see if I can get KDKA TV. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. I'm just kind of scrolling here to see if I can find it. Let me see if I can do a search. Let's see if we can get KDKA TV here. Isn't live TV or live internet stuff fun? It's not doing that. I got to go back over here. That's okay. We'll go down to sports again. There, hold on. What the hell was this? Home. KDKA TV. Let's see if this pops up. It says 7:05 p.m. The game hasn't started. Oh, it looks like it has. It is about to start. Okay, well, there we go. Press the OK button to see programming info. Weird. I'm not getting a game right now. This is odd, and it's not making me happy, especially when I paid the money to watch this. Nonetheless, we'll talk about a few other things. I'm excited to see some more of the young wide receivers. Obviously, want to see how the offensive line plays today. I think that's critical. They didn't look great last week. Expected. Nonetheless, I think we're going to, expect to see more of this offense in terms of what they can produce. There's nothing going on right now with the TV. We got a kickoff. It looks like the Jets have accepted possession of the football, and we have a first down and 10 at the Jets' 27-yard line. So we will use our ESPN tracker here. They've got a nice game cast. We'll talk to you about what's going on. Yeah, I'm not sure why anybody can't see the game right now. It's really weird, but we're not getting any of that. And I'm trying to look on X right now and see what the deal is. Maybe there's somebody that can update us as to what is really going on. But I don't think anybody's really saying much of anything in terms of why the game's not on TV at this moment. I'm a little stunned at it myself, but let's see if we can find any particular reason why they're not broadcasting this game live right now. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it looks like the Jets have a first down and 10 as Geno Smith goes back under center and connects with Adonai Mitchell for a first down. So the Jets are on the move early on as we are in the beginning stages of the first quarter here. The Jets at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Please drop a comment in the section there if you can. If you're on our YouTube channel, if you're on X watching us, you're welcome to post any of your comments there as well. John Phillips here for the first half. We will keep talking about a variety of different things. Obviously, how the offensive line is going to shape up, who's going to be starting and where, right? In terms of all of that is very critical. That's a big component to all of this, as well as Geno Smith connects on another big pass down the middle of the field for 21 yards back to Mitchell and a first down for the Jets. 2 minutes into this first quarter, the Jets are quickly moving the ball down the field, and Braylon Allen with a running play tackled by Deshaun Elliott. That'll set up a second down for the New York Jets as they are in the opening drive of this contest from Acrisure Stadium. No score between the Jets and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, JPJ, Joey Porter Jr., a hot topic as well. We can talk a little bit about him if you like. I'll get into Broderick Jones at some point in time and how he tries to fight his way back from the injury that ended his season last year and how he could end up maybe not starting the season. But Joey Porter Jr. is the other big story here. He still is on the PUP list. Not sure, if that is related to it's obviously it's injury related, but it could be a silent protest also to try to get a deal done. I will be really interested in seeing how this plays out after next week, right? They'll have another exhibition game. I believe it is Friday. I believe it's Thursday in Buffalo. And then once that's done, they have about 2.5 weeks off before the season opener, September 13th, against the Atlanta Falcons at Acrisure. And at that point in time, before then, I would expect them to have a deal done. I really think they've got to get Joey Porter Jr. done. As a 10-yard pass is completed by Geno Smith on third down. That completion goes to Mason Taylor, and it looks like the Jets have moved the sticks yet again. Another first down and 10 for the Jets. This time they have the ball inside the Steelers' 30-yard line. So the Jets continue to move the football on their opening possession of the first quarter, 11:43 on a moving clock at Acrisure Stadium with the Jets and Steelers no score in the opening drive of the game. Joey Porter Jr., a critical, they've had some off-season, extensions, Nick Herbig being one of them. And Junior is the big one, right? Legacy player, obviously. His father, a fantastic linebacker here for a number of years. Porter is a shutdown corner type. And they have desperately needed somebody like that for quite some time, as Braylon Allen loses a yard. Patrick Queen making the stop on first down at the 28. So the Steelers forced a 2nd and 11 as we are approaching 11 minutes to go in the first quarter of this contest. I don't see how they don't get the deal done. And my concern is that Porter continues to be on the PUP list, or based on the league rules, might hold out, may not play. Right? Players will go to whatever lengths they feel they need to get what they feel is what they deserve. As a completion by Geno Smith to Braylon Allen on 2nd down, that's 6 yards. It sets up a 3rd down and 5 for the Jets, as we are under 10 minutes to play here in the first quarter. No score between the Jets and the Steelers. He's going to continue to keep this up until he gets the deal done. And I think the Steelers are going to find a way, as, again, another pass by Geno Smith, this time Garrett Wilson, as the first teamers are out there for the Jets on this opening drive. That completion is good for 10 yards and another first down, as the Jets enter the Steelers' red zone for the first time in this game. Looks like they're at about the 16-yard line. First down and 10 for the Jets. They're at the Steelers' 13-yard line. So Geno Smith confidently going out there and quietly moving this team downfield in this opening drive, as the Steelers are facing the Jets at Acrisure, and still nothing on the TV. Not sure what exactly is going on, but Paramount took my money, and they're all laughing probably up in New York. First down and 10 for the Jets, as I mentioned, at the Steelers' 13-yard line. And this is a 6-minute drive to begin this game. And again, I'm not sure who the Steelers have out there defensively. I don't know if they have all their starters out there. But the Jets have scored a touchdown. Opening drive is converted, a touchdown pass of 13 yards. Geno Smith hooking up with Jelani Woods. And the extra point is up and good. And after just one drive, 6 minutes into the game, just under 6 minutes into the game, the Jets take a 7-0 lead over the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you're betting on this contest, I think the game is an easy dead shot over. I played the over, and I did play the Steelers actually to -5.5. I just think the young quarterbacks are going to sling all game long. I think once Geno Smith gets out of this contest and the backups get in for the Jets, it's going to be a different story. I'm not surprised that they were able to drive downfield and execute the way they did. I expected the Jets to put up at least 13 points today. And so a high-scoring affair, if you will. We'll see how the game plays out. But right now it's the Jets 7 and the Steelers waiting for their first possession of the game. Let's see if we can get Smith's numbers on that touchdown drive. Quite impressive. Let's go to the box score here and take a peek at that. Geno Smith, 7 of 7 for 65 yards. The Jets, a 69-yard drive in 10 plays. And it took just under 6 minutes, 5 minutes and 54 seconds. Smith, I think, probably going to be done for the day. I can't see him playing past this. Maybe he does. I don't know. But we will find out. And we will wait to see if this television pops on with a football game for me here. But I will continue to at least do this through the first quarter. We might do it the whole way through halftime. I don't know. I promise to halftime. I don't want to quit on everybody. For those of you that are joining us on the live stream right now, not a whole bunch of you, but enough of you where I want to stick around. And I appreciate your efforts to get in here and hang out with me this evening. It's nice to chat with you folks. As I had mentioned, we're looking for a new home for the show. We hope to have something wrapped up maybe next week or the week after. We've got a little bit of time. We've got some people we're talking to. I need a location to do the show. As I was saying in the pregame just before the start of the contest, without sponsorship money, I cannot afford to pay people. I would like to pay people out of my own pocket, but I don't make that kind of money. I mean, I do well at my construction job, but I don't make that kind of money. I'd like to make that kind of money. Maybe shortly with these jobs in Texas, I can make that kind of money. But right now, I'm just kind of stuck where I'm at. And we're going to try and refresh this here on the Roku. Let's see if the Jets does not pop up. This is so disappointing. I am not even kidding you. Let me see if I can. I'm in the Paramount Plus. Let me see if I can go to Roku. Let's see if Roku has anything. TV shows. Let's go to Roku here. Let's see if live TV. Let's see if this is the same thing I was just watching. They lied to me. They lied. Oh well, that's all right. We'll watch the game cast here on Press Star to customize your viewing experience. This is what I want to do for the customizing my viewing experience right there. Not you folks, the TV itself. It's just not behaving. All right, we're going to just do that. I don't know if I'm going to actually do it. Very disappointing. A little shocked. I'm not happy. Not going to lie. You would think that these things would work, but I guess this is what happens when you try it one more time. Paramount Plus Live TV. NFL programming will start soon. Now, here's the thing. Upstairs, I've got Xfinity, and I'm willing to bet that if I go upstairs, the game's on up there. But I don't want to leave you folks hanging for a couple minutes to try to figure that stuff all out. Either way, we're going to continue on here, at least for the first quarter. We may dive out after the first quarter if I don't have anything to watch. The game cast is just so much here. Okay, so Jaylen Warren with the first carry of the game for the Steelers gains 2 yards. The Steelers with the football at the 21-yard line. So they began the drive at the 19. It is a 2nd down and 8 for the black and gold, who watched the Jets on their opening possession go down the field and score and lead this game 7-0. I think right now, if they just aired it out with Aller and Howard all game long and just let them cook, right, get a few carries in here and there, especially with some of the younger backs, I just want to see what these quarterbacks can do. Mechanically speaking, that's what you're looking for. How do they look? How do they perform under pressure when there's a pass rush? Delivery of a football. Can they find small windows and get balls into tight spots where receivers can make plays? Those are the little things, the dynamic things. If you're watching a preseason game, especially when it comes to quarterback, that's what I'm looking for. That's the key stuff. That's the honey, right? If you're going to evaluate talent, that's what you're looking for. Is Roman Wilson and Will Howard cannot connect on a 3rd down play. It looks like Howard on 2nd down, a passing completion, and then again on 3rd down, an incompletion. And so the Steelers go 3 and out on their opening possession of this exhibition, this preseason game, and they will punt the football back to the New York Jets, who scored on 10 plays and 67 yards. So not a whole lot to really digest from that opening drive. Howard did not really get anything underway in terms of throwing the football. Warren actually with 2 carries for a yard, and then Howard with an incompletion. So that was not a great start for the offense. I don't know if I necessarily want to see Jaylen Warren running the football the first 2 plays of that game. I'd much rather see the quarterback come out and throw a couple of times, and even if it's got to be 3, and then get your running back some opportunities and some reps. I think it's a little bit more important that the quarterbacks be evaluated and early on. But, hey, Mike McCarthy and his staff making these decisions, and the Steelers are punting the football away, and the Jets will have it at their 16-yard line after a penalty on the kick, and that's where they will take possession of the football with 7 minutes and 34 seconds to go in the first half. We're so pleased you could join us here on Steel City Sunday. We're streaming live tonight on our YouTube channel, on X. I believe we are on our Facebook page as well. I had to add a little bit of swag to the back this broadcast. I know Todd Haley was giving me some of the business. He was like, I like your paneling. It's a little old school paneling. And I didn't have I have a Steel City Sunday backdrop, but it has the logos from the restaurant last year. And I didn't want to, just not for any other reason. I just didn't think it would be appropriate. And I got this at a rummage sale right down the street here. I live in a little estate area here in Allison Park, and it's a real nice community. My wife and I, our kids, were so happy here. It's been great for us since we moved back to Pittsburgh. And this guy was like, it's $5. I was like, are you sure? I gave him 10. And I've been looking for a place to put it. The game room is mostly finished down here, and I haven't quite figured out where and what I want to do. I've got a couple of additional TVs down here I need to get set up, and I'm not quite sure how I want to fix things. I want to get a poker table down here as well, but I decided to throw this up. Straub beer, of course, near and dear to me. I don't know if there's anybody out there that's actually had Straub beer. It is still being brewed in St. Mary's, Pennsylvania. And I grew up when my father had a hunting camp up in Elk County, up near the town of Forest, which is on Interstate 255. When you come past Du Bois and you're heading up in that direction, you can make your way towards the town of St. Mary's, PA, and that's where Straub Brewery is. And the diabetic beer, that is exactly right. So Pittsburgh Sports Desk checking in. It is the diabetic beer. It is good to see you, Bill. How are you, sir? Great job on the TikTok. I think you're over 300. You're cruising past me. You're pushing all kinds of content. Bill Akins. Folks, Pittsburgh Sports Desk. Of course, you can see his stuff on here on our YouTube channel. We love Bill. Bill produced the show for me last year. Bill just moved himself and is a super busy guy. He was out at Latrobe a couple times last week covering the Steelers. So there you go. He's a busy man. Go check out Pittsburgh Sports Desk on the TikTok. Put your TikTok in there, Bill, so I can get that out there for the folks as well. Bill Akins doing some hard work out there. But the Straub Brewery, and I think I told this story recently. I don't know if I said this last week or not, but Straub is near and dear to me because when I was a kid and we would go to our hunting camp and my father's friends would show up, we would go up on a Friday, and then this is always buck season, right? Always right after Thanksgiving. We'd have Thanksgiving, and then Friday, my father and I, we'd shoot up to our camp as the Jets are in a 3rd and 9 at their 17-yard line with 7 minutes to go here in the first quarter and a 7-0 New York Jets lead. We'd get up there on Friday, and then by Saturday, guys would start showing up. Well, by Saturday night, they had enough of the camp, and what we would do is we would mosey on up. We would mosey on up to St. Mary's, PA, All About Sports 50 on the TikTok. Go find Bill and the Pittsburgh Sports Desk, All About Sports 50 on the TikTok there. My man was out at Latrobe a couple times last week asking questions of Mike McCarthy. So we would go up there, and of course they had the Eternal Tap. I don't know if you know this or not, but that was what Straub was kind of famous for. They or Pittsburgh Sports Desk on the Pitt Sports Desk on the TikTok. Pitt Sports Desk on the TikTok. So there you go. You can check out Bill Akins and the Pittsburgh Sports Desk, Pitt Sports Desk on TikTok. So they had an actual tap. They had a pipe that ran from the inside of the brewery outside, and they had a tap on the front, and you could go up there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and drink free beer. No lie. Drink as much as you want. As it looks like the Jets have punted the football away, and the Steelers are going to get the ball at their 43-yard line with 6 minutes and a second to go in the first quarter. There's a TV timeout, and Jets lead 7-0. And so we would go up there, and it's hunting season. Sometimes there would be a throng of people up there. Sometimes it wasn't as busy. It just depended on the time. But I can tell you right now, I remember this as a kid going up there, and they'd have their little steins and their glasses, and people would be swapping stories. My father was a Vietnam veteran. They'd talk about the war and whatnot. This is the late 1970s. And we did this into the, I was a teenager, 16, 17 years old, up until I think I went hunting with my father through 1987, my senior year of high school. Because then I went to college, and I wasn't going hunting at that point in time. But I remember distinctly in like 78, 79, and just go into this place, and we'd be there for a while. Who knows? Could have been there for hours, like a lot of guys, and they would just sit there and just drink free beer. So an ode to days of past and to my father and friends. Straub beer. Amazing. It is the diabetic beer. Great call by Bill Akins. Any thoughts on Joey Porter Jr.? You're welcome to share them with us. I'd be happy to take any questions or commentary. We want to hear what you have to say as the Steelers are playing the New York Jets at Acrisure Stadium. And again, as I had mentioned, let's see. We've got Broderick Jones now in the game. Brock Huffman in at right tackle and right guard. So Jones at the tackle, Huffman at the guard for the second series. So we'll see how all this plays out as we're getting that from the old X account, Ray Fittipaldo. Ray does a great job, of course, a friend of ours, a friend of Bill's on the Pittsburgh Sports Desk. He joins him from time to time on that. But the Steelers are going to come out and let's see what they can do with this second possession. They went 3 and out in the opening possession of the game that they had. Let's see if they can do a little bit better this time around, as they did not look so good in a quick 3 and out. But hey, it's the exhibition season, preseason, if you will. Sometimes that's going to happen. I think the Joey Porter Jr. thing is very important. I'm very happy for Broderick Jones to see a quick recovery for him. In terms of, him coming back from that injury that ended his season last year. And it looks like Will Howard has connected with Roman Wilson on a pass completion. That one's 14 yards on a Steelers first down, as they are now in Jets territory for the first time today. So I think a healthy dose of Will Howard for the next quarter and a half is really important. You can mix in a few runs here and there. But I think this is all about the quarterbacks. I was a little surprised that they ran the first 2 plays in that opening drive. But again, here's another completion. This time Ben Skoranek catching a pass. That actually is incomplete. And so it is going to be second down and 10 for the Steelers. Mission critical to see what these guys can do. And as I talk to you, mechanic-wise, where they can place these footballs, reading progressions, right? How many progressions do they need to go through? If they're getting good protection, but the coverage downfield is strong, how are these young quarterbacks making the reads? And again, keep in mind the players that are on the field, maybe in the first couple of series, they're going to get a little bit of the first team as Rico Dowdle gets his first carry, it looks like, of the night, and he picks up a yard. So now we're looking at a 3rd and 9 for the black and gold on this second series. I would imagine with this ball at the 42 that they're probably not going to kick a field goal. I don't think they're going to kick a field goal. I would think that depending on what happens here on this particular play, they're going to want to probably go for it, but we'll see what happens. Again, in this type of scenario, why are you punting? Unless you're deep in your own territory, what's the sense of punting the football? It looks like there is a sack on 3rd down of 11 yards. Will Howard sacked by David Bailey. And so the Jets defense comes up big on 3rd down. They stop the Steelers and force a 4th and 20. And so the Steelers are going to punt the football. I would imagine they're going to punt the football here, and that will end the second drive. So we've had 2 drives for the Steelers. Howard, I believe, he's taken a sack. He has the 1 completion, and he has 2 incompletions so far. Nothing really to write home about, if you will. Every game is going to be a little bit different in terms of the results and what you're going to see. So there are those sorts of things that you want to keep in mind when it comes to the Steelers and how they look at these quarterbacks and what they're actually doing. Okay, I am going to do a couple of things here. The Steelers have punted the football away, and the Jets will have it 1st down and 10 at their own 4-yard line. I am, let's see here. Hold on here. An illegal stream with the football game. I'm searching YouTube right now, and I'm seeing that there is the Steelers game is being illegally streamed by somebody with 126,000 subscribers. So there's the football. I may have to watch the game here. I don't know. I'm not. The game is clearly going on, but it is not on my television. So I'm just going to turn that off right there. And I don't know. It's the wild, wild west out there. And I really thought we were streaming on our YouTube channel, but I guess we're not. I'm a little. Now I've got to check this. Hold on a second here. As we do some kind of like maneuvering around. Okay, we are on our YouTube channel. We're on the It's a Wrap Sports Network channel as well. Okay, fair enough. Well, I have found the game illegally on YouTube. So it makes me wonder how they're allowed to keep getting away with those sorts of things. Because I can tell you right now, if I had this game streaming on my channel right now, it would be over. It would be so over. I would be there would be, squad cars out front. Goodell would be charging from the back. Broderick Jones has lost so much weight. He looked like a tight end out of camp. I heard that. I think I actually heard you say that, Bill. I think I actually heard you say that. Look, when you are injured, you're not probably eating the type of diet that you normally are, right? He had surgery. You're not going to be probably putting that weight on quickly. You're waiting for that injury to kind of heal for you to get to a point where you're going to start maybe getting back into a regular routine of some kind. That it doesn't quite surprise me, but that's probably best for him. Probably best for Broderick Jones that some of that weight came off. And he keeps it off for right now. Maybe the best thing for him as he battles back. And look, depth at the offensive line. Let's talk about that, right? And Jones did not start the year last year very well, right? We saw him struggle early on. He gave up a bunch of sacks early on. And he started to kind of turn things around by the 4th, 5th, 6th game. And he didn't pose to be that problem that he had been struggling with the transition to the position that he was in. And, certainly playing in the league has its own challenges. There's no denying all of that as the text messages are coming in. So I think for Broderick Jones, the progression back will take a little bit more time. I honestly don't see him starting to begin the year. I don't know if he starts to begin the year. I'd be surprised if he did. I don't know if you have a thought on that, but you're welcome to do so. And tell us what you think. Okay, we're back to action. And I'm using the illegal pirated stream from apparently NFL Network. This is an NFL Network live stream being pirated by Super Cam Kadrama, streaming the Steeler game. Got 9,000 people watching it, which is pretty crazy. I may actually have to keep this. See, when you've got things like this, you don't mind watching it. There's like a little bubble here that you can see the game, but it's kind of like, he's got like a border on it. It's really weird. And because I don't generally dabble in these, the streams like years, I've always, had cable and whatnot. When I was in South Carolina, I paid for, the NFL Sunday tickets so that I could always have the games. Always Crack Streams was one of my personal favorites. Stream East, if you knew about those sorts of things. I used to use those a lot for college basketball, mostly because I was a degenerate gambler. And when you've got money on East Tennessee State and, Coastal Carolina, you can't find that broadcast so easily, right? You just can't find that broadcast so easily, 10, 15 years ago. Now with ESPN Plus, every team streams their games on their channel as a big run by, it looks like we got a backup quarterback in. Let's see here. We got a quarterback in here now for the New York Jets. Let's see who that is. And we'll get you his information because he just ran for about 22 yards. Cade Klubnik is in the game for the Jets. He just picked up a big gain on first down running the football, 16 yards. And the Jets maintain possession on a moving clock in the first quarter with 1:44 to play. The Jets lead the Steelers 7-0. Boy, I tell you, I love being wrong. I love losing money on gambling. Actually, I had a free bet on Fanatics, and I pitched it on a couple of lines. A lot of football to play here, but the Steelers of last week so far have not showed up offensively. Although Will Howard only had one scoring drive last week. Obviously, it was Drew Aller that had the 3 touchdown drives with the 1 rushing and 2 passing. Will Howard, 1 of 3 so far for just 14 yards. As Klubnik puts a ball into the air under heavy pressure, that pass is incomplete. And I don't know if we've got a flag here on the play or not. Looks like the officials are getting together. They might call some sort of penalty on the Steelers here. No, it looks like the officials are huddling right now. Oh, they're going to definitely throw a roughing the passer flag here, it looks like. You know, the way this league has gone in the last decade, it's intentional grounding. Okay, they're throwing intentional grounding on the quarterback, and so they'll probably, that'll be a loss of down, and that'll make it 3rd down and long. And it's a spot foul, which was inside the Jets' 20-yard line. Looks like that pass came down around the 17, which is going to move the ball back down to the 12, I would believe. We've got this whole scenario here of how the Steelers are going to put their offensive line together, right? What are the quarterbacks going to look like? Will Joey Porter Jr. Get the contract? How about TJ Watt? What about TJ Watt? He's got to bounce back from last year, right? Doesn't TJ Watt have to have a better year? I mean, how could he be worse? Looks like there's a turnover potentially. There is a ball on the ground. We've got a scrum. We've got officials. We've got players, and the Jets have retained possession, but they're going to have to punt the football. And once they punt the football, that'll pretty much bring the first quarter to an end. So we will have made our way through the first 15 minutes of play. Jets lead the Steelers 7-0. What about TJ Watt? I think this is year 9 for him. 9 or 10, and it's either year 9 or 10. And I'm trying to look that up quickly here right now. TJ Watt is in his 10th season. So he's in year 10. He's got to be able to bounce back, right? I want to believe that the Steelers defensively can't be worse. And now we've got officials huddling here on the punt as I was looking that up. The Jets may have taken possession of the football on this punt. Well, let's see what the officials say. Mike McCarthy standing right next to them. The Jets are claiming they have the football. There is a flag on the play. But TJ Watt and just the defense in general, I think they finished 27th last year. How do you not improve just by sheer determination and being angry about how poorly you played last year? Looks like there is a penalty on the Steelers, and the Jets did get possession of the football. So on the return play, it looks like Whedon fumbled the football, and it went right to a New York Jet who quickly stepped out of bounds because his motion was heading in that direction. The ball just popped right out of Whedon's hands. He was being twisted around. I'm pretty sure that's who it is. Let me make sure. I'm going to get some clarification here in just a second. That was Caden Whedon, who fumbled the football, was not poked out of his hands. He fumbled the football. It was recovered by the Jets, who the player, when he caught the football, was already heading out of bounds as they were heading towards the Steelers sideline. So the Jets have possession of the football on one of the very last plays of the first quarter. We have 5 seconds left in quarter number 1, and it is going to be the New York Jets taking possession of the football and up 7-0. So a turn of events, a turnover by the Steelers leads to the Jets. Well, now they're looking at it, and did he get 2 feet in? They may actually review this play. Now the question is going to become, yep, it is Steeler football. He did not get 2 feet in when he caught the ball. So the Steelers do get possession of the football, and this will be the last play of the first quarter with the Steelers up or down 7-0, and a running play, which is going to net about 6 or 7 yards, and that'll bring the first quarter to an end. So Steelers down 7-0 after a quarter of play. Glad you could join us here on Steel City Sunday and the It's a Wrap Sports Network. I would be a shame on me for 6 weeks if I don't mention the It's a Wrap Sports Network. The final word with Maddie B. Maddie B runs the network that powers us on the air. Can't thank Maddie enough. He's giving us an opportunity to come back and do year 2 with It's a Wrap Sports. These are Philly guys. They've got a ton of great shows. Maddie B's on 5 nights a week. You got the Philly Friday Frenzy at 9 p.m. That's with Al Zafari. Every once in a while, I join Al and Mike Loro on Philly AM Sports. That's at Sundays at 9 a.m. And now with the college football season on us and hockey coming around the corner, you're going to hear a lot more from Mike Loro. He hosts a show called Props, Locks, and Parlays. He also hosts a Penn State football show that'll be coming back on the air here in a few weeks. College football is just a week away. Used to get really excited about college football, and now with NIL, I could care less. I had that conversation with a few people this week. College football just not the same. Not the same. Thousands and thousands of players entering the portal every season. It's crazy. I think it was 10,000 this past football season. It might have been more than that, actually, with about 2,000 of them landing somewhere. And it's always up. Right? If you're in FCS, if you're in 1AA, if you still call it that, FCS, if you're in the lower levels, you're moving up into the higher levels of FCS. And if you're at the top level of FCS, if you're at a JMU, North Dakota State's now Division I. They're now an FBS school. Of course, they were a Division II school for many, many years. Dominant team in the lower levels. Of course, they were in the FCS for a number of years, dominating there. They've now moved into the FBS football subdivision, and that'll be their first year competing at the top level of college football, if you will. They're in the G6 locations. Yeah, I saw that. Thank you, Bill. They did not retain possession. They did not. The guy who got the football did not have both feet in bounds. So the Steelers get to keep possession of the football, and we'll start the second quarter here with that football as they are down 7-0. But these players that are at the G6 schools, the good ones get to move up to better schools. The ones at the top G6 schools end up going into better of the P4 schools. And then, of course, the lower P4 schools that have the best players, those players are now going to move up to the top P4 schools in the Big Ten and the SEC and the Big 12. It looks like Texas Tech is going to lead the way again this year in terms of most money spent on NIL, close to $40 million. Last year, $35 million. It got them to the quarterfinals of the college football playoff. We'll see how that plays out again this year, potentially for them. But they look very strong. And based on their schedule, I don't know how they don't go undefeated. I don't know how they don't go 12-0. As the Steelers have a first down and 10 with, it looks like, let's see, who's running the football? That's Jalen Warren in the game running the football. He's had a couple of runs. And the Steelers are going to have a second down as they are now into the second quarter, and they are down 7-0 as the ball is now at the Jets' 49-yard line. Will Howard starting the game for the Steelers at quarterback under a shotgun set with a sidecar, that being Warren to his left. He's got twin receivers to the far side of the field, and he is going to step back and throw 3 steps, completion, and it is a first down. Possession of the football, it is complete, and with possession of the football for the Steelers is Darnell Washington, the big tight end, making his first catch, it looks like, of the preseason. He catches the football, and he has a Steelers first down at the 49-yard line. And on first down and 10, The Steelers throw a pass. That is incomplete. That is an incompletion by Will Howard. It looks like it was Jeremy Bernard. And so it'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Steelers as they are in the second quarter, early stages of the second quarter. And it is still the Jets 7 and the Steelers nothing. We will continue to broadcast live. Hopefully Paul Zeiss can pop on here. And, I forgot to send Paul. Paul can't do anything because I haven't sent him a link. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I've got to send Paul a link. Paul, I'm going to be sending you a link here in just a few moments. Didn't even think about it. As the Steelers are now at 3rd and 8 after a short gain. And it looks like a completion from Will Howard on 3rd down to Ben Skoranek moves the chains to the Jets 31. Steelers have a 1st down and 10. Paul, there we go. Let's do that right there. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I haven't seen Paul in the backstage yet. And the reason why is because I didn't send him a damn link. So we got to get on with Paul and let him know link has been sent. So there you go. Sometimes things escape my mind. You know, that happens sometimes. All right, so a nice job by, I'm looking at this pass now, by Will Howard. Great job down the middle of the field. That's the other thing. Last week, middle of the field passes in bunches by the Steelers. More of that, please. Right? Just a complete transformation of this offense. It's going to be amazing to watch this offense operate. We have been so conditioned to 3 yards and a cloud of dust, right? Run, pass, 3rd and 9 bubble screen, right? That kind of offensive output has been depleting to the fan base, right? Look, when Todd Haley left, and Todd's great. Look, Todd knows, and just having had him on the show like we did last year, just listening to him, you're right, growing up in a football family, right? His father, of course, working for the Steelers for many years. He understood how the thick skin has to, shield you from, what people might say about you, right? And I've talked about this being in radio. You just, people are just abusive online and they say things and it just, it just kind of rolls off your back. But since Todd Haley left this team offensively, the Steelers, and I think it was like 8 seasons, they were just terrible. Not a good football team to watch as the Steelers are now in the Jets red zone, facing a 3rd down and 4 at the Jets 14-yard line. So we'll see how that plays out as we are now under, looks like we are under 10 minutes to play here in the second quarter. Jets lead the Steelers 7-0. See if the Steelers can push this into the end zone. I don't see any reason if they don't get it here on 3rd down and 4, why they wouldn't go for it. I don't see anything to gain from a field goal, to be quite honest with you. Again, in that scenario, why would you bother with anything like that? And Will Howard has thrown an interception. There you go. So Will Howard is intercepted. Looks like Andre Cisco picks off the pass, returns at 23 yards on the 3rd down and 4. And so Will Howard, with his first mistake of the preseason, leads to a turnover, and the clock has stopped with 9:23 to play in the second quarter. Steelers are now down still by a score of 7-0 to the New York Jets. So Howard's picked off. We'll get a chance to look at it here on this stream that I'm watching because it is about a minute or so behind the game cast. But Will Howard has been intercepted, and the Steelers lose possession of the football inside the Jets' red zone. Again, I'm not going to sit here and belittle the kid for mistakes, right? He's really getting his first real action in the NFL, as my Paramount stream still hasn't worked. So a tough pass there. He was throwing into single coverage, and it looked like the high safety that was on the play just broke on the ball, read it the whole way. I think just looking at it initially as I did, Howard, it was a bad throw. Wilson was his intended target, and the defensive back was just in front of him the whole time. I think Howard was just kind of locked in on him and did not progress in his read, just from what I can see initially here. So a tough one there for Howard and the Steelers as they turn the ball over after a decent drive. And so they'll have to go back to the drawing board when they get the ball back here. But the Jets retain possession and a 7-0 lead here, 9:23 to play in the second quarter. We'll have Paul Zeiss on by halftime. Once Paul pops in here on the stream, I'll bring him in, and then we'll bring this broadcast to an end. I appreciate the 40 or so of you that are hanging out. It's nice that to have people to talk to again. Obviously, once we get the regular season started, the audiences will be bigger. It is a preseason game, and this was very kind of last minute, if you will. We're not, asking. I'm not trying to ask too much of anybody right now because we don't have a sponsor. But people are willing to come on. Last week we had 6 guests in rapid fire succession, which was fun. We put a short 45, 50-minute pregame show together just to kind of do it. And it was very fun. This week I wanted to try something a little bit different. We don't have a huge audience on our YouTube channel. If you're not on our YouTube channel, please go subscribe over there at Steel City Sunday. It would be greatly appreciated. We want to get those numbers up as well. Our X page has grown significantly over the last 4 or 5 months since the season came to an end. We were broadcasting shows in the early portion of the year, and then my schedule started to get busy in April, and we had to kind of cut that back a little bit. We'll see if we have a sponsor, and if we do, we'll do a Monday show. If they play on a Monday night, we'll have a Tuesday show. If they have a Thursday game, which they do have one, we'll probably move that to Friday or Monday. We'll do an additional show during the week to piggyback off of the games. Most of their games, of course, are on Sundays, but they are going to be playing I think 2 Monday nights and a Thursday night. They have, of course, the game in France that will start at 9:30 a.m. But the plan is at least 16 regular season broadcasts and 16 shows to back that up. So I want to get that locked in. And I hope I can, and I believe I can accomplish that next week sometime. This is Steel City Sunday, Pittsburgh Steelers pregame show. I'm John Phillips. We'll hopefully have Paul Zeiss here in a little bit to jump on board and give his thoughts. Paul last week was kind of in a bad spot for reception. We got about 20 or 30 seconds out of Paul, and then we just wanted to let him go and get on with the rest of his evening. Nonetheless, we'll get him probably right around the 2-minute warning or right at halftime. Paul will jump on, and when he does, we'll bring him on board and just, get his thoughts on the first half and what he has seen so far, through this schedule of play. Again, I try not to read too much into what I see, and especially when it comes to the numbers. If a quarterback puts up big numbers, if a running back has a big day, that's all well and good. Most of these guys, as I had mentioned, they're not going to be on an NFL roster in 2 weeks' time, right? They will not be on an NFL roster, and a portion of them will be on a practice squad, right? Clinging on to the hopes of getting to an NFL roster of some kind. And that's usually through injury, right? That's usually through injury because, when you're on a practice squad, you're not really getting any kind of time to distinguish yourself. You're just hoping for somebody to get banged up enough where your position is needed and you're the next guy up, right? And then getting an opportunity to play and perhaps extending a career into the Shield, which, everybody wants, right? That's why they're playing. That's why they're putting in all this time. Even if they aren't on the depth chart or at the bottom of a depth chart, if you're in a camp and you're wearing a uniform right now, you have a puncher's chance of some kind to show a coach or a series of them what you can do beyond what is actually going to be asked of you. And that's why those spots 50, 51, 52, 53, they're so important, right? The guys that can do a variety of things, kick return, punt return, receiver, right? Scat back of some kind, special teams player, right? Distinguishing yourself in just the little moments that you have are going to be the difference between you working at 7-Eleven or going to a practice 3 or 4 days a week, right? And on an NFL squad traveling somewhere. And so those are the little things that the coaches are looking for from guys of this nature. As the Jets stall on their drive, a 5-yard penalty on a pass. It is declined. It is 4th and 10, and the Jets are going to punt the football back to the Steelers with just under 7 minutes to go in the first half. Of course, the New York Jets on their opening possession drove 67 yards in 10 plays, capped off by a touchdown pass from Geno Smith, who looked fantastic, going 7 of 7 for 65 yards. He looked really, really good. And so Klubnik still in at quarterback for the Jets. And on 4th and 5, they're going to not run the play. They're going to actually take a 5-yard penalty here, and they will punt the football away, and the Steelers will take possession at their 16 and will get their 5th drive of the game, down 7-0 with 6:47 to go in the second quarter. Pleased you could join us here on this special edition of Steel City Sunday on a Friday night. It is the weekend. Hope you have some plans. The weather's going to be terrible this weekend. I saw that. Yeah, I was looking at that. I was hoping to get outside with my daughters who went back to school this week, North Allegheny. I've got a 14-year-old that's a freshman in high school. She's a freshman in high school, and she's a rock star. And her younger sister turned 13 yesterday. So I've got 2 teenage daughters. Quite the interesting conversation at dinner and then afterwards at home. I will not go into great details about any of it, but being a parent in this modern – I have a 25-year-old son, by the way, and that was my first marriage. And I did not, after I moved out and we got divorced, he was 6 or 7 years old. So I'm getting a second run at parenting, and it's a challenge. It is a challenge to be a parent in 2026, especially with young kids. But all is good. All is good. We've got open lines of communication on both ends, mom and dad. And, it is what it is. We just want to make sure we raise good, young, upstanding citizens. All right, breaking the action here as the Steelers are going to get their next possession. Will Howard maybe a chance to fix the interception that he threw on the previous drive in the Jets' red zone. Did a nice job of moving the ball downfield in that last drive until he just locked in on a receiver. And a defensive back made a very good read and picked him off. Very lucky that he actually didn't return that ball for a touchdown. Thankfully, the Steelers were able to track him down and, of course, eventually force a punt. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, the back half of the schedule, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Steelers' schedule in 2026. That was something that was of interest to me. Last year we talked about the Steelers' schedule, and the last 3-4 games were definitely going to be a challenge. But when I looked at the schedule earlier, I was because I really didn't really look at it in great depth. I mean, I know when it came out, I was like, oh yeah, okay, that's interesting. And I actually had a chance to look at it last week, and I thought to myself, my goodness, holy moly. This is going to be a tough schedule, especially when you're talking about the back end of things. When you look at the back end of the Steelers' schedule, my goodness, and it's I don't know how they're going to break through and win 10 or 11 games. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for the Steelers to win 10 or 11 games this year. I mean, I'm just pulling up the schedule now, and I'm going to go over some of this here as the Steelers have a 2nd and 5 at their 21-yard line. Of course, they have their exhibition game next week against Buffalo to end the preseason. They open up with the Falcons at home. They go to New England for a week 2 matchup against the Patriots, back home against the Bengals in week 3, and then a Thursday night game just a few days later in Cleveland. Then week 5 at home to Indianapolis, at Tampa for week 6. Those are Sunday games, those 2. And then, of course, against the New Orleans Saints here for week 7. Then back here against the Browns in week 8 to get their bye in November, which is good. A little bit later on in the schedule as the Steelers are moving the football now at their 34-yard line on a 2nd down and 7. So once they come back from the bye, this is where things get real crazy, okay, because they go 8 weeks, and now they got 9 games to end the season at Cincinnati, at Philadelphia, hosting the Broncos, who were a hair away from going to the Super Bowl last year. They lost their quarterback, of course, in that conference. They lost Bo Nix. You've got the Houston Texans coming to town, who dispatched them in the first round, wild card round last year. Jacksonville will not be easy. That's week 14 at Jacksonville. Then you've got right before Christmas, the game against Baltimore here in Pittsburgh. Week 16 against Carolina. That's to be determined. The Panthers, for what it's worth, a playoff team last year. As the ball is now near midfield, the Steelers have a 1st down and 10 at their 46. Week 17, that's a Sunday game against Tennessee. That's at Tennessee. And then, of course, they'll end the season at the Baltimore Ravens. Okay, they'll end their season at the Baltimore Ravens, and that game is to be determined. So the Carolina game in week 16, which is Christmas, and then after New Year's at Baltimore. You see how the schedule's now starting to really creep into January. Now 2 regular season games in January. That back end of the schedule, right? At Cincinnati, at Philly, the Broncos, the Texans, the Jags, the Ravens. And again, for what it's worth, another playoff team from last year in Carolina, finishing with Tennessee and Baltimore. That's a real tough schedule. That's a killer. That's a killer type of schedule for the Steelers, as they are now in Jets territory with 4:23 to play, 2nd down and 3 at the Jets 47. Just looking at the box score numbers for Will Howard right now, really nice pass right there by Howard to let's see, that went to Ben Skoranek, who's got 3 catches for 26 yards. Howard, 8 of 12 for 69 yards and that interception so far in this game. So we'll see. There's an injury on the play right now, so we have a clock being stopped with just over 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. Steelers down 7-0 with possession of the football, trying to work their way back into the red zone and potentially try to tie this game up or get some points before halftime. That's a murderous schedule. I mean, that's a tough one for the Steelers to have. And again, how do you find 10 or 11 wins in there? Are 10 wins going to be enough to win the division? What if you've got a healthy Joe Burrow and a healthy Lamar Jackson to compete against all season long? Some things to ponder, right? We don't know how things are going to play out week to week in the NFL with injuries and the level of play and how teams go up and down. New coaching staff, some different players. They've beefed up, I think, offensively. I don't know how you feel about, the defensive additions, but that's a tough road of 9 games. You're looking at, you've got Baltimore twice, you've got Jacksonville, you've got Houston, you've got the Broncos, you've got the Eagles, and you've got the Bengals. And if they're healthy and they've got Joe Burrow, they've got a chance to beat you. They've got a chance to beat you as the Steelers continue to move the football down the field. It is another pass completion there by Will Howard as they are at the Jets' 39-yard line. And we are now under 3 minutes to go in the second quarter. It is a 3rd down and 5 at the Jets' 37-yard line as Will Howard is moving the football here, and he's throwing fairly well. He hasn't had a bad first half. The interception was not great. If you had a chance to see it, it was not great. Should have definitely not been picked off. He should have definitely picked another receiver, but he locked in on who he locked in on and turned the football over. So the Steelers are now facing a 3rd down and 5 with just over 2 minutes to play here as we approach the 2-minute warning. And again, the Jets take the opening possession down the field and they score. And essentially now we are sitting at 7-0. We've been there ever since. As Will Howard is looking at this play, and again, the clock that I have, we are now at the 2-minute warning, and so we have a stoppage in play, and we'll see how the 3rd down and 5 plays out here. Most likely going to be the last possession of the half for the Steelers and for Will Howard, and we'll see how Drew Aller plays himself once he gets into some game action. Okay. We're just a few minutes away from Paul Zeiss jumping on board. And once we get Paul in here, we won't keep him for more than maybe, say, 10 minutes. We'll get his thoughts on the first half, talk about a few other things. Joey Porter Jr., I want to get his thoughts on Porter. And, look, the obvious is the obvious elephant in the room is the quarterback scenario. And if they're going to keep 4, which now it looks like they're going to. Whether you agree with that or not, or how they pull that off, I don't know. I am certain that there is no way Mason Rudolph isn't wearing black and gold come week 1. What's intriguing to me is really the defense. And I said this earlier. If they can just improve by a 1/3 from last year, right? They finished 27th. If they can finish just middle of the pack, you've got to you would think if they improve by a 1/3, that puts them around 19, right? Maybe 18th. If they can finish in the middle of the pack defensively, I've got to believe that the offense, and again, we don't know what we're going to get from Aaron Rodgers. If he gets slightly better protection and he gets the time that he had for the majority of the season, Rodgers didn't have a bad year. He had a couple of bad games. He looked terrible against the LA Chargers, right? Obviously, the playoff game, everybody looked bad against the Houston defense. That Houston defense was just stout, just really just dynamite. If the defense improves by a 1/3 and you get more production, even by 20% out of your offense, 10, 11 wins. Going to be hard in that back half. As I mentioned, if they can get on a tear early, and again, just to look at the front end of the schedule, Falcons, the Patriots will be tough. They have to play the Bengals at home. The Thursday nights against Cleveland are never good. They do not do well in these Thursday night games against Cleveland. They did well against the Colts last year. We'll see how Tampa Bay. I think why am I forgetting his name now? The quarterback down in Tampa, the one that was in Cleveland. Then he went to Carolina. Why am I forgetting his name all of a sudden now? The young kid that won the Heisman Trophy, Baker Mayfield. Thank you, John. That kid's going to have a year. He's not a kid. He's like 29 or 30. He's going to have a year. You mark my words. As Will Howard throws his second interception of the game. So he is picked off for a second time. There was talk of seeing some regression from these quarterbacks. And sure enough, he tries to fit it into a real tight window with one-on-one coverage. The defender was in front of the receiver the whole way. There is a flag on the play right now. Let's see if the Jets maintain possession of the football. We got pass interference. It's on the offense. The Jets are going to gain possession of the football, and that should bring the first half, depending on how they manage this football. 1:54 to play here in the first half. The Jets have all 3 of their timeouts. They have forced a second turnover, another interception of Will Howard, and so New York excited, and that is how that drive ends. There is another game going on right now, Carolina at Jacksonville. The Panthers lead the Jaguars 7-3. 7-3 is the score in that contest. So there's that game to mention, as I should. Not a great throw again there by Howard. Not great at all, just from what I watched with my own 2 eyes on the stream right there. Well. So that's going to probably be it for Howard. I don't know. We'll see if the Jets, go 3 and out. We'll see if they can continue to keep possession and end the half with the football. We'll see how that plays out. But that's a little disappointing. And so I heard from Paul Zeiss via text. We'll see when he pops on here in a few moments. We'll keep Paul on for about 10 minutes, and then we will end this broadcast tonight. Appreciate all of you hopping on board. You like my little Las Vegas shirt tonight? I bought this when I was in Vegas last year. I miss Vegas. I need to get back out to Las Vegas. There's just one thing that I won't probably have enough of, and that's money. And if I go back to Vegas, the plan is to do like a 48-hour run with a backpack and just some clothing and just change and spritz up and just have at it and then fly back. I think that's Vegas for me. I just, and I don't want to stay off strip. I don't want to rent a car, right? You know what I mean? You have to pay to park. It's outrageous. The resort fees that they charge you on, and including at the hotels in Old Vegas, up on the northern end of the strip. Who wants to pay a $50 resort fee for a room you're going to sleep in for a couple hours? And I'm going to tell you right now, when I go back, if I stay up by Fremont again, it won't be the Golden Gate. My goodness. It was like I slept in a chlorine bottle. It was terrible. Like I walked into the room, I'm like, oh my God, it grabbed my clothing. It was terrible. I went out there for a reunion last year as the Jets are up near midfield as they have taken possession of the football, and our 17-yard gain, a 14-yard gain on first down has them moving the football quickly up the field. So they have moved the football here with now under a minute to go in the first half. Yeah, watching the replay on the Will Howard pass, not a good football. Not a good football thrown right there as the Jets call a timeout as they are near midfield, I should say, with about 53 seconds to go in the first half. It is still the Jets 7 and the Steelers nothing. So Will Howard with a pair of interceptions, most likely going to end his evening as I look at his numbers here in the box score. 10 of 15 for 74 yards, the 2 picks. He was sacked on one occasion for an 11-yard loss. So it'll be up to Drew Aller to put some offense together. And maybe both of these kids regress today. There is a good possibility of that. And there was some scuttlebutt and talk about possibly seeing that today from these guys. What we saw last week was amazing. And everybody wanted to get a bust. Wait, Paul, what little we were able to get from Paul last week was, this was more the pregame show, but from what I saw online, everybody was ready to get a gold jacket together and get a bust ready for Drew Aller, who looked incredibly good in 3 touchdown drives. And, as I wrote about the next day, I just said, hey, take it easy. Let's just slow everything down. We're so starved for good quarterback play. We want to see the quarterbacks do well. We want to see this team do well. We want to see an offense that's in the modern shape of what you see other teams like the Chargers, the Jaguars, clubs that I'm not even thinking of. Cincinnati, for example. I don't want to say Baltimore because it's a hybrid type of offense. I mean, they run so well with Derrick Henry and obviously Lamar Jackson. But, you've got these other offenses out there in the league that are, high octane. The Packers threw it around last year. The Bears threw it around last year, with young slingers at quarterback. You want to see that. And you've got this aging veteran who's on his last hurrah. It's his final song, if you will. And you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know if an injury's around the corner. It could take one good hit from the blind side that ends his season, right? Or, he's tackled and he falls the wrong way. And it could have been anybody in that position, but it's your 42-year-old quarterback who's playing in his final year, right? That's all it takes to change the complexities of a season. That's why I was talking about the schedule earlier as the Jets call another timeout with 39 seconds to go after a sack of Cade Klubnik. Carson Bruner with a sack for the Steelers. It's now 3rd down and 16 for the Jets. Maybe the Steelers do get one more possession. We'll see how this plays out. They do have the ball at their own 48-yard line as we are approaching halftime. And once we get to halftime, Paul Zeiss is going to jump on. And I said 10 minutes with Paul, and then we will put a wrapper on this broadcast, which is about 90 minutes now. 90 minutes now. Do that on your own for 90 minutes out there, people. Not an easy task to just sit here and talk to yourself. And I appreciate everybody that has chimed in, everybody that was on the stream, the people that are watching both on our YouTube channel and on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Those of you that are on the X page, we've got most of our viewership on X. If you're on X right now and we get done with this broadcast, if you would be so kind, I'm pretty certain, especially if you're on your phone, go to our link. If you go to our profile page and click on the link, you'll find our Steel City Sunday YouTube channel. Be so kind. Give us a follow over there. Hit the thumbs up button. All that fun stuff means a great deal. Helps get the channel out there. If you're just coming across us and you're not following, we do a live Steelers pregame show during the season, 4 hours before kickoff. Every game we do this, and we hope that if you're enjoying this, that you maybe come back and watch us again. And again, if you're not on any of the social media sites following us, there you go, people. It's pretty simple. At Steel City Sunday, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, X and TikTok, at Steel City Sunday. I do the shorts on TikTok and Instagram, as well as the other pages. We broadcast live on YouTube, Facebook, and our X page. So that's where, if you're going to want to watch the pregame shows, and again, the pregame shows consist of a lot of guests, right? Todd Haley, former Steelers offensive coordinator, Paul Zeiss, longtime Pittsburgh sports media personality. You can hear him on 105.9 The X when Mark Madden is taking a break. We have reached halftime. It is halftime, and we are at the half, and the Jets and Steelers are 7-0. So we have completed halftime, and we are awaiting Paul Zeiss to pop on. And once Paul gets on, we'll take 10 minutes of his time to get his thoughts on the Will Howard interceptions, just what he saw in the first half, what he hopes to see from Drew Aller, and, ask him a couple other questions about Joey Porter Jr. and a few other things. But we have a ton of guests. Mike Oste, who's the managing editor for West Virginia Sports Now, which is part of the Pittsburgh Sports Now family of websites. I have a national NFL insider from SiriusXM's NFL Radio on every week. His name is Zig Fracassi. I worked with Zig many years ago in Las Vegas, Nevada. He's been at SiriusXM's NFL Radio for 23 years now. He's a regular on with us every week. We're going to use some new people this year. Brandon Howe, who covers the Steelers for Steelers Now, and the Butler Eagle, young writer Nice young man. We'll get him involved. Trey Carney of Carney Media on X. Used to work for ESPN Radio. Provides a lot of commentary on X if you want to check him out at Carney Media. And, we'll see what else I can drum up. We have lots of gambling experts on every week. We do a segment called Consig's Picks. I just partnered with a Facebook page that is AFC North specific. I'll be hooked up in a few, says Paul. Excellent. Thank you, sir. Yes. Woo. As I tell him. So we're going to have more guests that are fan-based, that cover or watch and have pages that talk about the Browns, talk about the Bengals, talk about the Ravens each week. I want to make this like a magazine-style format with lots of guests every single week. It's not just me sitting here, and because I know that ain't going to cut the mustard. So we are a guest-driven show, a guest-driven pregame show, and we move every 15 minutes, every 30 minutes, a new guest, a new topic, same topics, different points of view. We get your feedback through the course of the show. You can leave comments in the comments section on YouTube. You can leave comments on our X page. Those pop up and we can see those. And we're more than happy to talk about anything that you have in particular on your mind when it comes to the Steelers, and especially in these pregame shows. We did postgame shows last year, just going to be a pregame show this year. Strictly pregame. I don't know if the market is there for a postgame show. Certainly not on the night games. I learned that for sure. I learned that a great deal last year. So we are strictly going to do pregames this year. And as I mentioned, we'll have a lot of those post follow-up Monday night shows probably in the 8 o'clock hour this fall. Again, if I can find us a sponsor, we will be on the air. And I just want to find a location to broadcast the show from. If that happens in the next week or so, I'm very excited about what the future holds. And if I don't, I guess it'll just be me for a half an hour, and none of you will be tuning in, I should say. Paul should be on here any moment now. Once we get Paul on, we'll have him for about 10 minutes, as I had mentioned, and then we'll let you folks get on with the rest of your evening as we approach the 1 hour, 40-minute mark here of this broadcast. I wasn't sure how long we would go tonight, and I was a little disappointed that, I paid for some TV subscription to get the game, and the game isn't on. But for some reason, some dude in probably Dubai is streaming the game illegally, and hey, I was at least able to watch some of it with you folks. If you were watching along, I appreciate that immensely. But not a great first half, and certainly a bad second quarter for Will Howard. He throws 2 interceptions, one in the red zone, one in that late drive towards the end of the first half to kill another potential drive that may have led to points but does not. So Howard, with the 2 slashes, he gets the 2 X's to his name. And, everybody's going to be now with their eyes and attention on Drew Aller and how he performs in the final 30 minutes of play as the Steelers move along and try to figure out which of these 2 is going to be their number 3 quarterback. Because it ain't going to be, I can tell you right now, the number 2 has been settled. Mason Rudolph is the number 2. And he always was. Season prediction. We got David Claycomb checking in on the Facebook. David, good to see you, my friend. I said 10, 11 wins. If the defense can improve by just a third, I don't see how they don't win at least 10 games, probably 11. The back half of the schedule is brutal, David. I was talking about the schedule earlier. When they have, the good news is they get the bye week right there in the early portion of November, which means by week 10, which would end up being their 9th game, they're in the middle of November at that point in time. Okay. So, they've got a Black Friday game against Denver, but that back end of the schedule at Cincinnati, at Philadelphia, home to the Broncos, home to the Texans, at Jacksonville, before Christmas against Baltimore at home, then home to Carolina, who was a playoff team last year, and then the final 2 games are Tennessee on the road and Baltimore. Right now, I'm at 10 wins, maybe 11. We'll give an official prediction before the start of the season. We'll give the official prediction once we get to the first pregame show of the year. But right now, I have to say 10 wins because I think the defense is going to improve by a third. They can't be any worse. They can't be any worse. I think these guys that played last year defensively, the ones and the majority of them that are coming back, they're going to play with a more of a chip on their shoulder this year. They got a new head coach. Their jobs potentially are on the line here, right? It's a thankless job. Here today, gone tomorrow. Here today, gone tomorrow. As Paul Zeiss has entered the backstage, I'm going to give Paul a couple seconds here, and then we're going to add him to our broadcast. Let me just see what I'm doing here. Let's see. All right, add to the stage. And there's Paul Zeiss. Paul, hello, sir. How are you? Oh, I do not hear Paul. No audio. Cannot hear you. No. You're mute mic. Your mic is not muted on my end. I can tell you that. Let's see if we can get some audio from Paul here. There we go. I heard something there for a second. No. Cannot hear you. There, something came through for a split second, but it right now you are deaf. I can hear something there for another split second. Nope. Oh, no, it's not. Nope, not coming through. We'll give it another 30 seconds or so here. We'll see if we can get the audio figured out. Paul working out the details. Nope. Yeah, cannot hear you. That's all right. I still love you. Oh, gonna give you another minute or two. I hear some things, and then they come in and they come out. It's like real quick. It's like white noise. Ah, there it was again. Steelers at halftime down 7-0. New York Jets on their opening possession go 67 yards in 10 plays. Geno Smith 7 of 7 for 65 yards. Will Howard with 2 picks in the first half on the black and gold side of things. Paul hopefully going to get this audio worked out. We'll get Paul on here. And Paul has been disconnected. Devices are not connected. We'll give Paul another chance to reconnect. And David has another comment from Facebook. Good spot for a break. Looking forward to the show all season. Yeah, we can't do it without folks like yourself. Thank you for the thumbs up, by the way, David. You're a good man. I know David Claycomb, good people for sure. Appreciate you, David, checking in on Facebook. We had everybody checking in from all the different locations today, Facebook, and, of course, on our YouTube channel. We'll give Paul another opportunity to pop back in. If he does, great. And if not, that's okay, Paul. We're going to try again next week, maybe. We'll see. All right. I think that's going to be it for me. I think we're about to start the second half. And I appreciate everybody hopping on board. We had almost 50 of you hanging out at one point in time here tonight. For those of you that are still streaming with me, thank you so much. We'll see about next week. We may have a show. I don't know just yet. Working on a sponsor. If we can get a sponsor, we may very well have a show. We got Paul back. We're going to give Paul another opportunity here, add him to the stage. And we'll get Paul back in here. Paul, let's see if we can hear you this time. Nope. Yeah. And you're definitely not muted on my end. That's all right. Okay. No. I'm not giving up on you. I'm the last person to give up on Paul Zeiss. By the way, I still have not received my invitation to the Zeiss.com tour. I would prefer to run the beer cart if I get said invitation. I'm not saying I might deliver beer to anybody who's playing golf. And there's that white noise again. Yeah. So the internet is a fickle thing.
How about?
Oh, yeah. There you go.
You got me?
I do.
Oh, finally. There's like 75 different settings for this thing. I finally figured it out. We'll never have this problem again.
You remember when we just used to pass notes around back in the day, right?
Absolutely. This is ridiculous. I figured it out.
All right. Will Howard, 2 interceptions. Should the Steelers trade or cut him? I'm just kidding.
It's funny because here's what I can already see it happening on social media. Here's what's going to happen. The Will Howard, fan club is going to blame everybody else. I've already seen people blaming Roman Wilson for the first one and blaming, come on. Like, I think Will Howard is what he is. And I understand why there's a lot of people that are trying to make him more than he is. And there's some people that are trying to make him less than he is. He is what he is. And I think if you really are serious and really look at what he is and what he's going to do, his ceiling is that of a really decent backup quarterback. I know everybody wants to try and push him into, he's the quarterback of the future. He doesn't have that kind of stuff. I mean, he's okay. He's just going to be okay. Now, the guy that's going to play the second half, I think physically has the stuff that you say maybe he has a shot to be the guy. I don't know if he will or he won't. But, it just Drew Allard dropped mostly because he had a really, really, really bad senior year. And part of it might have been and he got hurt. And part of it might be, that big game James is just not a very good coach if you're a quarterback, So that's why he dropped. He didn't drop because of his physical tools. Will Howard was a 6th or 5th or whatever he was because of his physical tools. Guys didn't coach, GMs, whatever, did not believe he's good enough to make all the throws in the NFL, not good enough to be a starting quarterback. And so to me, that's not a fluke, and I don't understand why we keep trying to make it a fluke.
Yeah, well, I think excuse making, and like you said, some people just have an agenda and they want to push. There's a contingent of Steeler fans that are Penn State fans, and there are a contingent of fans that aren't Penn State fans, and there's that element to it. We can go back and talk about Kenny Pickett and that little war that was waged for a few years here in Pittsburgh. What do you want to see from Drew this week? More of the same, obviously, from what he gave us just a week ago.
I mean, obviously, just keep doing what he's doing. Now, of course, he's going to be facing a vanilla defense and, guys that are going to be selling, insurance or whatever in the next, a couple of weeks. But at the end of the day, I mean, just play well, make good reads and make good throws. And, last week he threw to a lot of guys who were wide open. So, you hope that maybe he gets to see a little bit. Now, what I would be willing to bet is in the next preseason game, they'll start him. So he'll have to play against the first team and stuff, and we'll see what he can do. But again, if you're looking at physical talent and physical ability, I mean, I don't even think it's close. I mean, I hate to say that. I mean, Will Howard is a nice story, and I know there are a lot of people that are in love with Will Howard, but I got to be honest with you. I mean, you're kidding yourself if you ask me.
Yeah. One more question. I'll let you go because I know the second half has just started. Anything stand out from anybody else in the first half that you might have seen that you wanted to comment on, whether it was Jack Sawyer or Deshaun Elliott back on the field in a Steelers uniform, or even Broderick Jones, who has shrunken in size since his injury last year?
Are we allowed to start to get a little bit worried about the first team offensive line yet? Or do we have to wait? Yeah. Huh?
Yep. Yeah, slow start. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
They didn't play well last week. Didn't play well really this week in the first quarter. What, they have 6 yards total, 7 yards total? Yep. I mean, at the end of the day, it's one of those things where people get enamored with names and draft picks. And it's like, I assume these guys are going to be okay, but they haven't really played very consistently. Who was the guy last week that got turned around 6 times? And, of course, we were told all offseason that, he played well in his last at tackle. I can't think of his name now. I'm still flustered by the mic. But my point is, Come on now, the starting left tackle. The last few weeks of the season. Anyway, long story short, we were told that he might, he's going to be good enough, yada yada yada, and all this other stuff.
Troy Fontenot.
No, not Troy Fontenot. The other guy. The Fontenot was a draft pick. The other guy that came sort of out of nowhere, and they, picked him off a scrap heap somewhere.
Is it Dylan Cook, maybe?
Dylan Cook, that's his name. Remember? I mean, last week he got turned around like a matador. You know what I'm saying? I mean, okay. He was like if you go to Penn Station, the revolving little gates to get you in the train. I mean, he was there. I mean. Broderick Jones has shown us that nothing in his entire career that suggests he's going to be the guy they thought he was going to be. Fontenot is good. Got to stay healthy. Ian Heacher, or whatever his name is, the first-round pick. Obviously, he's a first-round pick, but he's a rookie. Anderson is going to be one of your starting guards. I don't know if that's going to be good enough. I mean, I'm just saying, John, it's one of those things where I look at what people are getting excited about.
Right.
And this is the point in camp where everyone starts to try and convince themselves that everything we know about a lot of these guys is false. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
I mean, that's where we're at I can see it.
Yeah.
I mean, suddenly Peyton Wilson, or suddenly the inside linebacker, Elandon Roberts, who's been cut 7 times. Oh well, he's out there thumping people. Great, I'm great. He's glad he's thumping people in practices where they're not tackling. But if you remember, I mean, there's a reason that guy was cut or whatever he was, waived or whatever, and he's been waived a couple of times. Because you know what? If you are a running back running straight into the hole, and he's running straight at you, he will light you up.
Yeah.
But if you move one way or the other, or if he has to try and cover you, he's lost. And so to me, I'm looking at all these guys, and then, before we go here, I mean,
it's okay.
This whole thing with Joey Porter Jr. Did you actually read the report, John?
I did not.
Okay. Here was the report, and you've been in the business long enough to know when someone is trying to basically shovel the brown stuff, so to speak, okay?
Right.
The report was that a number of teams are wondering about Joey Porter Jr.'s trade, availability for a trade. Okay, well, a bunch of teams are wondering about Pat Mahomes' availability for a trade too. That's not a story. Right. That's not anything other than a guy throwing something out there and knowing full well that for the last 24 hours we'd have all kinds of morons turning it into red meat. They're not trading Joey Porter Jr.
No.
What they're gonna do one of two things, John. Either they're gonna sign him to a long-term deal before training camp is over, or they're going to wait till after training camp and use the transition tag or the franchise tag. And then once they franchise him, then they'll say, okay, we're going to negotiate with you.
Yeah, because he's going to get a bump no matter what. Once he gets a franchise tag, there's a certain number that's going to raise his price up, and he's going to make more money. Paul Zeiss, you're the best. I appreciate you, sir. We'll talk next week. I'll give you a call. I'll give you a call tomorrow, maybe. All right.
Sounds good. Wait till after my golf game. Wait till after noon.
Where's the invite?
Hey, you're always invited, John. You just got to show up. It's early though. Like that means you're gonna have to leave the craps tables early, but at the end of the day to get there, I mean, come on. Yeah, no, you're always invited. You just have to tell me when you want to play, buddy.
All right, I appreciate it, Paul. Thank you.
Yeah, all right, we'll see you, man.
Paul Zeiss, absolute man among boys. I love him. I'm telling you, there were some days at the Fan where we just, it was just, man, he'd hear me play something, then it would be, he'd say something, I'd say something to him, and then we went down these rabbit holes. Just solid guy and knowledgeable. All right, that's it. The broadcast is over. I can't thank you folks enough. I'm John Phillips. Appreciate you all checking us out for almost 2 hours tonight here on Steel City Sunday. We'll see how the second half plays out. Looks like the Steelers went 3 and out with Aller, and the Jets have possession of the football. So watch the game and enjoy it, and we'll talk soon. Again, follow us on all our social media sites at Steel City Sunday, X, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. We'll talk next week. We'll hope to have a show for you next week. Stay tuned, and bye now.
Live from the City of Champions, where black and gold runs through the veins of every fan. Welcome to Steel City Sunday on the It's a Rap Sports Network. The smoke is rising from the rivers tonight. Terrible towels waving under stadium lights. From the North Shore crowd to the hometown bars, Steel City football shining like the stars. Every hit, every drive, every yard on the ground, you can feel that energy all over town. From kickoff dreams to the final score, Pittsburgh football always leaves you wanting more. Hear the crowd roar, feel the black and gold thunder. Steel City Sunday, game day passion leading the way. From pregame talk to the final say, we're breaking it down the Pittsburgh way. Steel City Sunday, win or lose, we're here to stay. The fans, the action, the pride, the glory. It's a Rap Sports Network tells the story. From legendary moments to the stars of today, every snap and every battle takes our breath